Hello and welcome to Mohammed's Entrepreneur Challenge. It's Monday morning, a big day of work. The work goes on. As you know, in this challenge, I'm trying to show you a bit of the journalistic activity we do to see your activities this evening and then the projects we have coming up. It's diaper. The city is calm. Public transportation is also quiet. I have to tell you, the results of this week have not been easy. There have been a lot of twists and turns, but not in the way we hoped. We wish things would move faster. There are a lot of new grants that encourage such a change, but that's part of an entrepreneur's life. Often things don't go as we wish. You have to be able to navigate these difficulties. There are things that just need time. Negotiating with the end client, unfortunately, things don't go as we wish. The end client is in the process of, they are not at all satisfied with the negotiation. Goodbye. There is one factor that is disrupting the negotiation a bit, and that's the fee rate. The fee rate is going to be very high. So when we resell the product at the final price, it ends up being a bit more expensive than usual. So what he wants to do is lower the purchase prices, but the prices he's offering are a bit lower than we would like. As a result, with that, we can't really work properly, and that's how it is. This situation, the advantage it gives us is that at least we're working a bit. Actually, that's also kind of the plan for the negotiation. The advantage with us is that it's a program. When we did the program, it kept us busy for a long time, it occupied us, and it even brought us some frustrations as well. At some point, the price they're offering is a bit risky. If there's an increase from the service providers, it's going to put us in a very difficult situation. So right now, the negotiations aren't going the way we want, because with the price they're proposing, we have no margin and it's very risky. Me, I manage my own money. As people often say, it's better to have no deal than a bad deal. And this gives us the impression of a bad deal. The risk is the deal could fall through at any moment. What we've done in the past is to negotiate. So this weekend, I'm going to take a break and see what next week brings. Business is very dynamic. There are many assets that could be launched with more decisions, but you shouldn't rush into things every time when the prices aren't right. The deal is in a very complicated situation. It might not happen, even though we've placed a lot of hope in it. The negotiation with the end client has reached a critical point where the deal might be derailed or fall through because the contract terms don't suit them. We also have other clients we can meet with who have also come and need time to make commercial deposits. But no, this is a real program that would really allow me to put the structure on a solid foundation and also enable me to raise funds from investors. So unfortunately, things are not going as we had hoped. I am holding on to hope that I will be there next week. We will be able to resume negotiations at the intermediary's office. In addition to the price not being right, there's also the issue of distribution, because you know that in contracts there is also a distribution in terms of quality, and the distribution requires us to make our own arrangements, because if we go with the distribution, it doesn't work for us. We risk losing a lot of money. So honestly, the negotiations are very difficult. The negotiation is not going as we had hoped. There's also another factor I mentioned in one of my videos, in the process of applying for a loan with financial institutions. I thought that last week we would be able to make progress on the case. Unfortunately, we are also seeing that things have barely moved forward. We have filled out all the documents. Thank God we have made it through those steps. A quick decision is reached. This quick decision will allow us to move forward more confidently, because whether we like it or not, no matter how much goodwill there is or what expectations we have, we need that financial security, which will also allow us to provide better service and give everyone peace of mind. There is an inventory. As long as we haven't received a final rejection, we still have hope that things can move forward. Unfortunately, we would have liked to do this more quickly so we could make progress. That too hasn't progressed as we would have liked, but we haven't received the rejection decision. So we're still in the game. things can change at any moment. Our supplier in Africa is also preparing himself so that he can start working as soon as possible. He has also met with his financial partners who have given him an agreement, a preliminary agreement. We're waiting for it to become official so that he can start working. You can see that in the maritime sector, even with a very high rate of fees, the supplier in Africa is waiting for his financiers so he can start working, as they have promised him funds soon, even if it's not the full amount, but at least a sum that will allow him to get started. On our side, with our financial partners, there hasn't been a rejection decision, but it's taken a bit of time. And the final killer too, in terms of negotiation, there are a few things that don't help. So this week hasn't been pleasant, hasn't been great, but we're not giving up on the approach. We're still in the game. That's what entrepreneurship is. Often things don't go the way we want, but we are hopeful that we can move the situation forward and be able to get back on track. Also, there are external players involved. That's it. And the formal ones are also wearing us down a bit with their threats and all that all the time. That's why you never need this when you're running a business. For that making invoices, for that exporting, maybe it will allow us in a stronger financial position to deal with our creditors. The week has been very, very, very complicated, very difficult. The creditors are putting pressure on us with threats, and the negotiation project between the final parties has slowed down a bit. The investors in the financial decisions have not yet given a final decision except regarding their role in this utopia. It's a difficult subject. We are not going to let ourselves wait around. As entrepreneurs, this is not the first time for us. We are aware that this is just how it is. We know what it means. Things can change at any moment, because at any moment it's kind of the mood of the weaker. As far as the company is concerned, things have slowed down a bit. But we are hopeful, I think that next week we might have some good news and then get things back in order. Also, regarding your questions, it's simple, everyone runs their own business. Everyone wants the best possible outcome. So you have to be able to calmly hand me a share, more or less, to let you know. So we're trying to see how we can limit the damage, come out of this with a deal that's acceptable and that will allow us to move forward. We see hope in everything. But the overall project, everything is on the right track. Now it's the details about how we do things that are holding us up a bit. We're very far along, and I think that's the part being handled externally, to see how things will pick up again starting in June, because in May we have a setup that's a bit heavy. That's also the risk when we get back into activities, to try to get things flowing again. We hope that in June we'll finally be able to put things back in place and in this way start up operations again. And that's what will help move the situation forward a bit more, and everything. I'll give you a brief summary of the week, which wasn't great, but we're very hopeful for everything, really hopeful. And then there's health, and with my help we can turn around even the most difficult situations. But I think we're on the right track. It's just the details, and that's part of entrepreneurship. Often things don't go exactly as you'd like. It's tough sometimes, physically and mentally, when things don't go the way you want, when things go off track, when there are some obstacles. You mustn't lose hope. You have to hang in there. All of that is what will allow us to reach our goal. So that's kind of the low point of the week. We'll keep learning as we go along. I hope that next week we'll have some good news about our financial situation, that we'll get approval to have the funds made available to us, so our suppliers can start working together on the ground, and we can manage to finalize a contract with better terms. It's possible. I think it's doable. We're quite hopeful that things will go well. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.